workshop takes place in Lengerich, Germany. As the host, the University of Applied Science Osnabrück will welcome students and their professors from 5 different countries around the world. Together, we will work in intercultural teams of 7 to 8 students on an exciting landscape architecture project in Lengerich. The exact planning task will remain secret for now. The small groups will be supervised by lecturers from the German and the international universities. The intense design process is combined with field trips to projects of landscape architecture, urban planning, or art. In addition, various leisure activities are planned and there will be plenty of time for mutual exchange.
On Friday, I arrived from Düsseldorf and we took a train and we arrived to Lengerich and they picked us up in there, and then we had a welcome barbecue. And on Saturday we went for a trip to Osnabrück first, and we went to the campus, which is really beautiful, and then we went kayaking and canoeing because we were a few people, so we took both of them and we spent the day there and we had a picnic. And then we went to the highest point of Osnabrück, which is really cool because it has a lot of fossils on there, and it's really nice to understand that it was an ocean before. And then we went to Osnabrück to have something to eat.
Well, on Sunday we had a hike in the morning. And I think it was the best part of the day for me. It was my favorite part. I got to know a lot about the landscaping part, about the nature in the town. In the afternoon, we had a sightseeing with the mayor of Lengerich, and it was also very nice. We got to know a lot about the city, some very important spots for the city, and a lot of good information for our workshop here in this town.
25 years ago, I was the leader of the Offensive Lengerich, that is a public-private partnership organization. And this organization is organized by about 300 persons of the town, and they tried to support the town Lengerich, especially what depends on the image of the town. And then we have seen that the area of the canyon you couldn't visit because it was grown with plants, with trees and others. I asked the leader of the factory Dickerhoff whether he can build a path just around the canyon, and that was the next we did. And Mr. Juncker, I met him at the exhibition at Bad Iburg.
Who has the idea?
Who had the idea?
It was mine.
Yeah, it's his idea.
It was the reason why you're all here. And this was, I didn't expect this when we started this, that it's possible, but now it happened. It's wonderful. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I met him and I asked him whether he can help me, and that was the first project. I asked him how he can transport the idea to bring the fields and the woods of the Teuto to the town and to connect this area here, the landscape and the town. And then he told me 3 years ago, that he will make such an international workshop. And I asked whether I can support it with the LEADER project. And this is the beginning how we came together and how this this workshop happened in Lengerich, and with this ideas.
What did I expect from the workshop? A lot of exchange of ideas and creative energy. Yeah, that's what I expected.
Well, what we did today with our group was to start to explore the surroundings of Lengerich and try to understand the landscape and how we can improve the access to these types of landscapes. We could also see them through the city. How can we improve the landscape, not only from the forest, but also from the city to the forest?
After that, we try to decide which area we need, so we choose to change. And our area is from the canyon to the RBL clinic.
Yeah, so the main idea is to enhance these encounters, creating unique space to let people to do an activity related to the place. For example, for appreciate the landscape, for rest, or to play.
Your landscapes generating in all the members of our group a lot of good sensations. It was something that many of us don't have the chance to explore, and we are very grateful for the workshop. I think we are trying to do our best to understand the landscape and the people of Lengerich.
No, I think that on Wednesday it was really pointed out these challenges, because sometimes the how everyone works is sometimes defined by the culture. So you have to understand if someone is holding back and is not participating, and then it had the personality of each of the students also come there. So then I think it's a big part of this is how they can relate with each other and work together, and that's a competence you don't really have if you have not the experience of working in this way. So I think it's really a very good experience.
If there's a conflict, look at values. Is there a value clash at the moment? Is there something, let's take something like punctuality. How punctual you arrive for one of your appointments. Well, in South Africa, being 30 minutes late is being polite. Then you are not putting unnecessary pressure on your host. So I had to learn in Germany to be on time. We're very relaxed with time in South Africa. So it might be that that's just one example. Time is cultural. That's why it's one of the biggest reasons for conflict between cultures. I'll give you another example. In some cultures, German culture is one of them, you learn to do one thing at a time.
I mean, at the beginning, it was actually seeing all the different personalities come together and trying to figure out who does what. But I think you guys figured it out by yourselves, and there was not much needed from my end, and I appreciate that. I mean, you guys, and it was nice to see, the German versus the Spanish versus the New Yorker coming together, and the Japanese. So it was as expected. It was a nice collaboration.
I think the challenge was also to get every student to find their own strength and to find out how they could contribute to the whole. Like some of them were a little bit they were holding back because they didn't find their place. So for me the challenge was to ask them, so what's your magic power? So I think the challenge was to find everyone's specific strength or skills. So, and it was really nice to see how they all eventually came out with their own magic wand. So it was a really nice experience as teachers, for me at least.
the idea is to give a different perspective from people from all over the world on this little village and this situation along the landscape of the Teuto. And we saw that it's now, doesn't matter where you come from. If you come from South America or from Japan or whatever, you get a really good impression about this situation here, and everybody felt the same. And so it doesn't matter where you come from in the world. And this is something I really appreciate.
This is like the vision we found this week. And we want to transform it into several, with some linear layers, into a new track park between different regional villages, but also into a new track that the inhabitants of Lengerich could use. So as a conclusion, we would like to transform the barriers into different scale connectors to give new lifelines to Lengerich. Thank you.
So our proposal, this is our concept diagram. So for our concept, we wanted to focus on the concept of being water. This is because since there is a canyon, it is the biggest attraction of the zone. We took water as the main concept to apply the different stages of the projects. Just as like water flows in a stream, the aim is to let the different landscapes flow into each other, such as a stream of water.
The exchange of ideas and, as I said, creativity, and then this moment when you have the final idea that's defining the whole process of your work.
This is just a schematic sequence of how these different places will maybe look like. We base our design on elements. We have water, the steel, wind, light, darkness, the forest, vegetation, and rocks.
I come to Germany, I was really getting a lot of energy from every one of them, and that was not. I'm not saying I'm like I thought it's like teaching or navigating, but also I was like returning a lot of energy back to me to feel that, to rethink that, like, oh, what I supposed to do, or why I'm here and where I'm going to.
We decided to use greenery that's already within its environment, like for example, beech forests in the park and some of the species in the city, creating areas with sensory stimulation. So for example, plants that can be touched, smelled, and eaten.
And to frame this whole idea, we thought about the heritage of the linen production here in Lengerich. It was a starting point. And then we thought about how the linen is fabricated. And thereby we came to the idea of the mesh, vernetzt.
So when this proposal is completed, we believe and we really trust that the connection between the landscape and the community will provide a mesh layout that will highlight the uniqueness of Lengerich landscape. Thank you very much.
So I really wanted to thank all the international workshop to be able to like rethink and have a time to have such moment, and then hopefully I can go back to Japan with get all the PCR test negative. But I really got energized. That's the only thing the first thing I wanted to say.
This is also an important part for me, and to say, okay, let's do it again.
And I would say we need this. We have to do it.